Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. I have a very important update to share with you guys. We're going to be talking about the altcoins and the total market cap that are already breaking out, have already reversed from their bear markets, and we're starting to see a lot of that new money that's entered the market coming back into some of the laggards, and now they're starting to break out as well. As we're starting to see many of the different markets reverse into their new cycles, this is where the majority of your profit is going to be made. So for today's video, we're going to be breaking it down, explaining exactly why I think that there's going to be so much money to be made moving forward, and how we can look to capitalize on the volatility ahead. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so here we are to start off today's video, and we're going to quickly talk a little bit about Bitcoin on the shorter time frames. As you guys can see, Bitcoin has temporarily broken from its short-term descending resistance on the 4-hour, and we're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, whether we correct back down and kind of retest that before we end up getting continuation, or whether this corrects and then ends up falling back down for another low. We don't really know as of yet, but what we can say is as Bitcoin has made this small little breakout outside of its resistance, we've actually seen a lot of the main altcoins that have been leading the cycle breaking out. And this is an important thing to be watching for, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the altcoins that have been leading this new cycle and the reason why it's an important time to be watching for what they're doing. Because what we've seen is as Bitcoin has made this small little move over the last, few hours, we've seen altcoins like Solana that's already been leading, breaking out and making a new high. So as we're watching this, I think it's an important time to talk a little bit about the Elliott wave count, because in my last video I talked about Solana, we were basically coming right up to this level, and I said my target was $75 to $78, and we're pretty much right there. Now, we've been in my group accumulating this, well, we accumulated this, I should say, from $12 to $15 in that range. It made a lower low, but we just held our positions, and we've been holding ever since. My main targets for this has always kind of been the tops of these lower highs, and I've really been holding what I bought down in here as just a long-term hold. I plan to hold this until the end of the cycle, so I'm not even going to be taking profits on what I bought as it runs up in here. But nonetheless, guys, I do see the potential where we're about to be actually selling off. So I did want to give you guys a little bit of an awareness of that. What I see happening in the shorter time frames is we're about to finish a wave 3, and I think that that's probably where we're going to come into contact with this $78 level, or close to. Could peak a little above, could peak a little bit below, but that's kind of the level that I'm watching, right? So when we come up to this and tag it, I think that that starts a 4-wave correction. We'll probably come back down to the same level we just ended up consolidating on, around $50. But then I'm still looking for one more final high to come after that. Whether that takes us all the way up to the tops of these lower highs, or whether it's just kind of in the mid-range, I really don't care. This is just the way that I'm seeing the Elliott wave count playing out. And we got to keep in mind that that's only a wave 3, because this was wave 1, that will be wave 3, we'll probably see another wave 4, and then we still have another impulse to come after that. So we're only talking about the very small, minor, beginning stages of this uptrend. Solana has many, many more impulses to come, and I'm not trying to give you guys some exact strategy on how to, trade with Elliott wave theory or know exactly which price it's going to. I'm just telling you guys how early we still are, regardless of the uptrend that we've already built up to this point. Even though I bought all the way down in here, I'm still holding all of this. I have nothing but confidence to keep holding this, and the real reason we're talking about it today is because if we're seeing Solana breaking out and it's been leading the market, generally that's an early indication that the rest of the market's going to follow, because the majority of the market's going to lag. You're going to see some outliers. That so far has been Solana and a few others, and when they start to take off, generally speaking, that's when the rest of the market will follow. So that's what we're watching for with Solana here. If we come over here and look at the next big leader, that's going to be putting us over here at Chainlink, and Chainlink's been the next big leader as far as the high cap cryptos, right there with Solana, and it makes sense. To me, Chainlink is the backbone of DeFi. It doesn't exist without it, so we're going to expect to see this gain a lot of adoption, and so far we've been really breaking out a lot with the announcement of staking. You can now stake your Chainlink, and so that's a big upgrade from the last cycle. Now looking forward with this one, what we've basically done is just a 1 wave, and we're inside of wave 3 in the same sort of sense. I think that we've got one more impulse coming, probably up to like $19.60. We'll get a wave 4 correction back down to pretty much the same $12.70 level we consolidated on, and I'm still looking for one more move after that. So regardless if we see a correction in here, I would probably look at that more as a buy the dip opportunity. But with it being a 5, for me, all of my accumulation was done in here. I'm not trying to buy any dips up in here because I don't know when the top is for the short term is going to be. I don't know when the exact bottom is going to be. I did know that after we spent 500 days going sideways here, that was probably the bottom. So I had a lot of confidence accumulating down there. Now that we're breaking out, I'm not trying to buy, I'm just trying to hold what I've got, because now comes the point of the cycle where things are going to start heating up. There's going to be a lot more money coming into the market. The reason we're talking about Solana and Chainlink today is because they've been leading so far. So whatever these are going to be doing, the rest of the market's going to follow. If we're seeing Chainlink and Solana already breaking out and making a new high, generally speaking, that's what's going to follow with the rest of the market. So this is kind of what I'm looking forward to. I still think that we've got one more move coming in the both of these. And so if that's going to be the case, we would expect to see some more continuation up from certain altcoins as they continue to make their breakout moves. Altcoin I really wanted to cover today that we covered just recently is actually Cardano. And the reason we're covering this one is because we're starting to see this shift in money happen. When the new cycle takes place, you have a couple leaders that front run the cycle. When that happens and they get closer towards their tops, what we have generally seen, smart money starts to take profit, and then they start to filter that money into some of the other cryptos that haven't moved yet. And ADA is up 25% today, and in my opinion, that's kind of an early indication as to why. As the market is broken out, ADA is finally breaking out, and ADA is actually breaking out of a double bottom formation. This is a very, very important pattern. It's a pattern I've personally made a lot of money trading and investing in, and it's actually the exact reason I bought Cardano in the last cycle and made almost 100x. It did a double bottom formation. This big double bottom, retests the lows. Once it breaks out of the range highs, flips it as support, it starts a new cycle. And when you break out of a double bottom, your target's the prior all-time high of that last cycle. So we just did the exact same thing. We just cleared out of our range high again. So when we're looking at this, we just got a confirmed double bottom breakout, assuming that this holds as support. We'll watch for that moving forward, but that gives us a target of the prior all-time highs, just like it did in the last cycle. The difference is I've never seen a double bottom formation play out and only go to the prior all-time highs. I've only ever seen them go to new all-time highs. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching out for with Cardano. But if we're seeing Cardano breaking out, and we're seeing some of these others that have already led the way, Cardano breaking out is a sign that that money's starting to actually filter its way back down into the rest of the market. Other blue chips are breaking out. It's no longer just the outliers, it's the rest of the market that has been around for prior cycles. And so seeing this is an encouraging sign because it's not only bullish for Cardano, but it's bullish for the rest of the market. We're starting to see that money filter back into the rest of the altcoins that maybe haven't been performing as well. Now, the next one we're going to be talking about is Dogecoin. And the reason we're talking about Dogecoin is because when we're looking at what's performed the best over the last few days, it's been Dogecoin and it's been Cardano. And I think that that's an early sign. If we're seeing two of the other blue chips breaking out and starting to make significant moves, then that's a sign that the whole market is about to be doing the same thing. We've already seen all of the market break out. Bitcoin's done its thing. ETH is already now just broken out of its massive 530-day ascending triangle formation. So we're going to be expecting to see a big, quick markup period where everything kind of takes off and breaks out of this bottom. When we're looking at Dogecoin, this to me just looks like another big double bottom formation. When we come all the way back and look at Bitcoin, this was the cycle that I first got into crypto. And so I really like double bottom formations because of the fact in my first cycle, I bought Bitcoin at the very end of this ascending triangle at $450 after it had just broken out of a double bottom formation. So I know that the importance of this reversal because I've actually invested into one personally, and that was kind of the main reason for buying it. I knew that it was a reversal because me and my friend were just barely starting to learn about patterns and trading and different things like that. And so seeing it break out of this and then make this ascending triangle, we could not have been more bullish. But it's funny because I got liquidated right here, right after the halving. Regardless, guys, I'm getting off topic. The point I'm trying to make here is the bottom looks the same. To me, this just looks like a bigger version of that 2015 Bitcoin bottom because this is 500 plus days and this was 280 days. So we've already doubled that for the most part. And when we're looking at this, it's a bigger bear market as well. This was a much longer bear market correction than what Bitcoin had. So we're looking at a lengthier cycle in Dogecoin. But you guys get the point that I'm trying to make. This is the same as this. Blow off top is the same. This little ABC correction is obviously the same all the way back down. It's pretty much the same setup. And so as we're watching these, I'm expecting that Dogecoin is getting ready to actually break out. And seeing it starting that early leg up with the rest of the market, I mean, it makes sense that it's starting to take off like this and go vertical because the entire bottom accumulation, our range high takes us all the way to here, which is like 15 cents, 15, 16 cents. So if we're going to be breaking out of a bottom, in my opinion, it's almost to be expected that we come to at least here. We might pull back, but I would be expecting that we're going to run probably all the way back up near the top of this lower high, being like 35 cents. If this is truly the bottom and we're going to break out from that, I really am not going to be surprised to see Dogecoin run all the way to the top of this lower high. Doesn't have to go quite that high, but even if we ran up to like 25 cents before coming back down, to me that's a big enough move. It's just that when I'm looking at this, the range high of the resistance is 16 cents. So it makes more sense that if we're going to be breaking out from 16 cents, we would probably come all the way back up to the top of this lower high as well, because there's not really any resistance inside of that entire move. It's almost the same as Bitcoin flipping 25K. Once it's confirmed as support, there's not really any resistance until you get all the way up to the top of that next level. And in Bitcoin, that's 48,500. In Dogecoin, that's 35 cents. So the reason I've been accumulating low leverage longs in this is just because it's an obvious bottom. We've accumulated sideways forever. These are the type of low leverage longs you can buy, you can sit on, and you can forget about, and you can literally just look to take profits a year or two down the road. I held my Cardano long for, gosh, I can't even remember, like a year and a half, I think is what it was. And the only reason I had to close it was because Binance kicked me off their exchange. Otherwise, I would have held it even longer. I had to sell it, like, I can't remember. It was right over here at some point. I remember we went lower and it wasn't at the exact top. I had to sell it somewhere in here. So, I mean, it was a good time to sell regardless. But I would have been looking to sell it over in this area. So I ended up missing out on that. But regardless, guys, I took like $1,000. I put it into a low leverage long at Cardano at 5 cents. And it blew up and it made me a ton of money just off of a very small investment. So when I'm looking at Dogecoin, I just pretty much followed the same thing. I put a low leverage long in Dogecoin down in here, and I'm just going to plan to hold that the entire length of the trend. If we run all the way to the top of this lower high, I'm going to take some profits for sure. But I kind of bought this as just one of those, you know, if the market moons and goes crazy, I just want to hold on to something and see what it turns into, because we can make a lot of money with pretty minimal risk doing so. And so that's kind of my thoughts. As long as you're using an exchange that's got minimal fees and you're not going to go bankrupt because you got to pay your fee every single day, the lending fee, just be aware of those things. But I mean, I don't have to pay very much money in my lending fee, so it doesn't really matter. I'll put a link in the description for anybody that does want to actually use the same exchange that I leverage trade on. I use two different ones, and so depending on the coins you want to find, some of them don't have all of them, so I'll put a link in the description for you guys to check them out. But this is the video I had for you. You know, a lot of cool things happening in the market. Everything's breaking out according to plan. Everything's following along like we thought it would. Now that we're starting to see the other majors breaking out, I think that we're about to see our first true alt season of the cycle, where it's almost like the everything cycle, where everything takes a big leg up. So this is kind of what my thoughts are, what I'm thinking. If you guys did find value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these updates. If you guys want to join my Discord server and see what I'm investing in, anything like that over the course of the cycle, when we actually bought into any of these low leverage long signals for Solana at the $12 and $15 level when we bought into these, a lot of these we were accumulating, and we've been accumulating these for a long time. If you guys want to see how we're positioned, where we're buying, what we're selling, anything we're trading, even outside of crypto when I take profits, you got to sign up on my website, linked in the description below. On my website, it's just a one-time payment, lifetime access. As long as you guys are in there, you'll always have access, and then you'll always be able to see how I'm investing my money. Even if I move outside of crypto, take all my profits, jump into something else, there's plenty of opportunities outside of crypto. And really, I've been looking into a lot of uranium markets because I kind of see that as being the next big bubble. So if you guys want to be able to see any of that stuff I'm looking at, links are in the description. Go ahead and sign up on my website. Thank you all so much. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.